Hi, my name's Lindsay. Out here, some people know me as Liz. I'm 43. I'm originally from Delaware County, but I'm out here in Kensington, as you can see.
How you doing, Miss Lindsay?
Today was a good day. I was able to get my clothes clean, get something to eat. I'm not dope sick. I have a dope habit, as well as cocaine. I got a couple dollars in my pocket earlier. I don't know what the evening holds, but as of right now, I'm okay.
It's an honor to be talking to you,
Thank you for having me.
and welcome to the channel.
Hi, everybody.
What drugs are you struggling with right now?
I have a dope habit, cocaine. I stopped smoking hard a couple weeks ago, but those two are the two main ones, and
And
not lightly.
and how many bags a day would you say you do?
Sometimes 4, sometimes 6. 4 at a minimum. Anything less than that, I will be sick.
And how do you support your habit?
I get meds, Suboxone, gabapentin, clonidine. I sell that. I've done sex work. I hit people. If someone can't shoot themselves up, I'll do it for them. But I'm real hesitant to take that last one. I have a death by delivery. I got somebody some drugs and they overdosed. And I gave up 7 to 10 at SCI Muncie for that.
7 to 10 years?
7 to 10 years. I was eligible for parole after 5, but I just could not behave. I couldn't get my shit together to be eligible for parole. When it was finally granted, I was at the 7 mark. And the last 3, they were rough on paper. I drug it out until literally April of last year when my sentence started in 2012.
Well, congratulations, you made it out.
Free woman. Well, not free. Free from the legal system, but definitely not from the chains of addiction, because they are heavy.
And how did you get introduced to heroin?
What is it?
How did you get introduced to heroin?
I got into a car accident, and it wasn't an opiate epidemic at that time. They sent me home from the hospital with Dilaudid, 124 milligrams, 128. After 3 months of pain management, I was doctor shopping every 2 weeks, one by the insurance, one cash pay. And one time, I didn't have enough money for the office visit. I had enough for the prescription in the pharmacy, and the office manager would not work with me, so they weren't going to see me. And I was sick, but I didn't know you could even get sick from an opiate withdrawal. And I had all this money in my pocket, so this guy handed me a little blue bag and told me to go sniff it. And I got high. I got real high. So I pulled the money out and said, what can I get with this? And that's when I met Kensington for the first time. I was 28 years old.
Well, it's never too late to get back, to your normal self.
I had parole as a lot of structure, being in and out of behind bars. And, I would try to be good for a time. And then I would fall. I don't have that structure. When I was pregnant, I have a 14-year-old son. When I was pregnant, I was clean. But I had a reason. I'm sure that it sounds so cliche, like I don't have a reason to stay clean. I just can't. I haven't found a reason. I know I can get it back.
Well, you worth that reason.
Thank you.
And always remember that.
I mean, I was in the rooms for a little while. I had a mentor. I had a sponsor. She had 25 years clean. She would come get me and take me places. And then, I don't know if it's boredom or something happens and I can't deal with the emotions. I just don't like to feel. I've been through some shit and I just try to act like everything's okay all the time. And if I numb myself enough every day, I don't have to deal with it. The Kensington pause as the L goes by. You get used to it after a while. You don't even hear it.
Absolutely. So let's get back to it. What does withdrawal look like for you?
Oh my goodness. When dope didn't have fentanyl and trank, the medetomidine, the xylazine, when that wasn't an issue and it was brown dope, an actual opiate, you would be squirming around on the floor thinking you were going to die. This particular combination of drugs, I've been found unresponsive, not breathing. I've been in the ICU. on Presidex. My blood pressure was 210 over 118, which was very close to a stroke. I've been intubated several times, and I have no idea that it's going to happen. I'm not able to get the money. Somebody might have robbed me. That happens all the time. Hands in the pockets. Think you have something, go to get it, it's gone, and nobody is going to help you out here. And all of a sudden, I'm throwing up, and then I'm out. I wake up 2 days later in a hospital, and they tell me that I'm in the ICU, that I'm going through severe withdrawal. They use the Dilaudid, Ativan, Versed, Clonidine, the whole slew of medications to get me off the shit, even methadone. And I come back out here and do the same thing all over again.
Well, hopefully the next time you decide to stay with it and don't come back again, because you know the results of it.
And I have trades, medical assisting, phlebotomy license. While I was upstate, I got my computer programming certificate. I can work as a CNC computer programmer. So I have the ability to support myself. My housing should be coming through soon. I really hope that is a motivator. Spend my money on furnishing my place instead of looking at the things that they gave me. I'm a candidate for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Well, do you ever consider going back and getting clean?
I've been toying with the idea. I was assaulted out here, and that really messed my head up for a while. I have a case manager at Prevention Point, and I guess thinking about it is the first step. I know a lot of people out here. The streets are desolate right now. Some are dead, some are in jail, but some they got clean, and I'm thinking about it.
I'm sorry, you said you got assaulted?
I did. I was doing sex work, and it went from a consensual date, as we call them, to a severe situation where he knocked my teeth out. My lip was all smashed up. My eyes, I got scars on my eyebrow. He just beat the shit out of me, and he raped me. And that still wasn't enough for me to get clean, but it was enough that I stopped jumping in cars with men.
Sorry you had to experience that.
It's one of those things that I chalk it up to, I live in denial. I almost can convince myself, if I get high enough, that things like that have never happened to me.
And how hard is it out here every day to be able to keep up with your habit?
I wake up, I'm sick. If I'm smart and I had a good night, I'll have something in my pocket to make sure that I have something to wake up to. But I have to eat. I was really skinny. I'm 5'8". I was like 110 pounds. It was so disgusting. So I started making it a point to put some food in my stomach, not junk either, like an actual cheeseburger, chicken fingers. So you got to think that's $5 to $7. I have a $20 to $30 a day habit. I need clean clothes because bugs are an issue out here, body lice, head lice, and that's just from poor hygiene or coming in contact with somebody. And it costs money to stay clean.
And what happened to your hand?
This is frostbite. We're going on 3 weeks now from our first snowstorm. I'm out here by myself, and I came across a girl, and she was dope sick. I cashed in my food stamps. I was happy to have a friend. I spent the whole day with her, fed her, got her high, had a buddy for the day, and they handed out samples, and it was too strong for me, and she left me in the snow. I woke up in the hospital. The paramedics scooped me up off the pavement. No jacket, no hat, no scarf, no gloves, hands in the snow. My body temperature was 94 point something. They had to warm me up with a dialysis machine. I was in the early stages of hypothermia, and my hands is extremely painful. I almost lost my pinky. Now these cuts are going on 3 weeks old, and they're still deep. They crack. They're very painful. Plus, there's a lot of nerve damage.
And what did the hospital do for it?
Actually, frostbite is a type of burn. So they treated it with the pain meds, antibiotics, Silvadene. Of course, they convinced me to detox while I was there, which obviously I didn't keep up with. But they managed it with Silvadene, which is what they treat burns with. Now, the nerve damage and the weakness of the hands, I don't know if that's going to come back or not. I'm going to have to work at it with some physical therapy.
And how long had you been homeless?
Off and on since I came out of prison in April. When I absconded, I lost my apartment. When I went back, I wasn't able to afford a first month, last month, and a security deposit. So I've been homeless off and on since I was in my early 30s.
And for people who don't understand the term absconder, what does that mean?
It's when you fail to report to your parole agent and you go on the run. It's pretty much like catch me if you can. After 6 months, the U.S. Marshals will come after you. But usually you get caught up because a police officer will run your name. And then you go through the whole 6-month turnaround. You're going to county. You're going to sit there for 10 days. Sheriffs are going to come get you and transport you back to your home jail. For me, it was SCI Muncie. Then you deal with your parole violation. If you had a new charge, then you have to come to court. And it literally is a whole slew of problems and time consuming and bouncing around. And it eats up. I mean, I gave up 3 years on paper because I couldn't report. I wanted to get high.
And since you've been out here homeless, tell us, how hard is it out here when you're homeless? How do you bathe?
There's on Frankfurt and Allegheny, they have a drop center where you can get a shower once a week and get an outfit. Then you can go every day and get something to eat: oatmeal, coffee, soup. Wednesday nights, Prevention Point does a women's night. If you can be the first 10 in line, you can get a shower. You can pay somebody who has a place to live. I spent my food stamps for a gym membership at Planet Fitness, over $180, just so I have a place to go to get away from here sometimes, and I can get clean. You know, I need to be clean. I'm a woman.
And a little quick backstory. How was your childhood coming up?
My mother has a drug addiction to PCP. My father was an alcoholic and very violent. They separated when I was 4. And my mom, she really didn't want to be a mom. She pushed me off of my grandmother. So my grandmom, she raised me. And then when I was 12, we got into a car accident and she passed away. And my mom lost her best friend. And she really made me feel like it was my fault. I know that it wasn't. But she lost her best friend and she had to take me back. She's on husband number 4 now. And we haven't spoken in 10 years. She has my son. The last I saw him, he was 4. She got clean when I was pregnant. And he calls her mom.
Oh, sorry to hear that,
Gotta get my shit together. But I will not step into that child's life until I have at least a year clean.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, time goes on. So you can't keep putting it, to the side and saying, one day I'm going to go do this. Because when you look up, that kid would be grown,
He's almost 18. He's 14 years old. He just had a birthday in February. Like, he's a young man. I was out on my own at 14. I left. I left my mother's house at 14 years old and got emancipated. So I'm looking at like, oh, I have a baby. I have a son. Like, he's not a little boy anymore. He's old enough to know my story. And I don't know if I could actually look that young man, in the eyes.
So,
and tell him why I haven't been around.
So if you was able to go back in time, what kind of advice would you give your 16-year-old self when you were 16?
Oh my goodness. I remember picking up cocaine for the first time. I hung out with a whole bunch of older people and I wanted to do what my parents did, but I was going to do it better. I wasn't going to let it throw me off track. I wasn't going to be mean. I wasn't going to ruin my finances. I wasn't going to be them. I was going to do it better. And it swept me up in a tidal wave. And I remember contemplating whether I wanted to actually snort that line. I would have put it down and walked away, because even at that time, cigarettes bothered me. My parents smoked. I would complain about that. I didn't want to be around them when they drank. I really felt the impact of their addiction. And then I was just starting my own. I had the ability to turn away at that point in time before I got swept up in my own.
So what would you say to the kids who are curious about using drugs?
It is not worth it. Look around on the street. You will see addicts everywhere. They are not in good health. They are not in good mental status. They are not in good finance. And they could be. Don't. Just look around and think. You know, you can always go back and change your mind if you really want to do something. But for the most part, like when they say, just say no, walk away. You know, go play a video game. Spend your money on a monster. No.
Well, thank you for sharing your awareness with us today. And, I pray for you and I hope your situation get better.
Thank you.
And before we end this interview, is there anything else you would like to say before we go?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to my family, my friends that I turned my back on. I'm sorry to all the people that I let down. I'm sorry for myself, but I'm not to be pitied. I hope somebody, if you can make one choice different than what you were thinking just by watching this, then it was worth it.
Thank you. That was well said. And God bless you. And me and the supporters will keep you in our prayers. And hopefully next time I see you, you will run up and be happy to give me, your recovery story.
Hey, the next thing is housing. Maybe that'll give me the courage to turn this around.
All right. Well, that was well said. Thank you. And you have a good day.
You as well.